somber. Welcome back to Music Teacher Reacts, where if the spacebar is not loud enough, please feel free to complain below and I'll get it sorted for you. I need to be really honest here. I'm not in a very good mood right now. I just shot a bunch of footage for this reaction, and the file corrupted, and I've been spending about 4 hours trying to get it back, and it's been incredibly frustrating. What's happened is I've got half of the original reaction, so I will be listening to this again and giving my thoughts about it. However, halfway in, I'll be flipping to the first time listening. It really isn't ideal, but I really want to thank everybody. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all the kind comments, and I look through all of them, and I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away by how much support I've been getting from the community and if you're watching, from you. So thank you so much. I'm getting so many comments about asking me to react or to look at How Could You Leave Us. I will be doing that. Don't worry. I just have to get up to it. And also one more thing, really big happy birthday to Elizabeth Davies. If you're watching, happy birthday. So, pressing play now. I gotta say this intro really did take me by surprise.
All I ever wanted was somebody to hear me, and all I ever wanted was somebody to feel me. And everybody wanna tell me that I'm out of my head when I'm on the mic, that's fine, but that don't scare me. It's been a long time, but I'm back now.
Sorry, this is my second time hearing this, and I am getting things again taking me by surprise, and mainly it's that bass. It's that, and this is something that I don't think I actually said in my initial video, which is good. It's mainly that unpredictability of that bass. And as I said as well, I really love that introduction, that kind of synthesized vocal part, which does recur throughout the song actually.
They wanna tell me that I'm out of my head when I'm on the mic, that's fine, but that don't scare me. It's been a long time, but I'm back now. Rap out, welcome to the rap house. Rap out where I live till I pass out. Blackout, everybody keep on wondering if I still rap now. Are you serious? Anybody out there hearing this? I came in the game as a lyricist, and I'ma leave like that, period. You sniff lines, I'll write lines. You've now entered in my mind, and you better get ready, cause you might find I'm from a different place in my kind.
What really took me by, well, didn't take me by surprise, but what I really saw with this, because somebody did write it in as comments, that lyric, you sniff lines, I write lines. It is quite powerful, because what I noticed with this song is he's switching between this first person and second person. So he's talking about himself, then he's talking about somebody else, whether it's you, like his listeners, or a generic other rapper, essentially. And I found that quite interesting throughout. What I really like musically about this is got these sustained synthesized keyboard notes which do build. And again, I will talk a little bit more about the composition as I go along.
In my mind, and you better get ready, cause you might find I'm from a different place in my kind. It's a little bit different than yours. Quit snoring, hip-hop isn't there. It's
right.
Just been in the morning. From the moment I quit recording, quick record this. Listen, I'm warming up and you're misinformed. If you think that I'm slipping up, this ain't sick enough, then I'll skip the chorus. I've been here, ain't nobody heard of me. Yeah, I'ma turn this beat to a murder scene. I don't live for the world, I live for the king, I live for the king. Focus, wrote this with emotion. It's hard to get a break when the doors ain't open. It's hard to get a shot when the gun ain't loaded. It's hard to make a living when nobody wanna notice. Hold it.
Again, looking at the lyrics and seeing how he talks, because I know there is the Christian allusions behind this. Again, somebody did mention that he is a rapper who is Christian, not a Christian rapper. And he has that line, I don't live for the world, I live for the king, I live for the king, focus. What I do find really interesting about that line is the word focus. And I would like your opinions on what you think that means, because obviously he's going into his Christian roots and his Christian beliefs there. And I'm interpreting this in a way where the real, mind the pun, the real focus of this line is the word focus. Because he didn't need that there. He could have just said he doesn't live for the world, he lives for the king. Done. But he ends up with focus. So who is he telling to focus? Is he telling us to focus, or is he telling himself to focus? Because the way that I'm interpreting that, and musically there isn't too much that's happened there except he's accented that word focus, which is obviously a part of the flow. But is that his thoughts about his upbringing clouding his judgment, and he's really trying to shift his focus back to himself? Again, sorry if I'm hated for this comment, but to me it's quite fascinating, because I see this song about him achieving what he thinks or what he feels he was always destined to achieve through effort and through tireless effort. And for that, there's a contrast, because you can't live for somebody else. You got to live for yourself, really. And in my eyes, that's what he's saying. He's saying he lives for himself. And as a consequence, a lot of other people are benefiting off it. Let me know, though, what you think.
What am I, insane? Maybe playing crazy. Put me in a room with a mic, you will not restrain me. You do what you want, but you can't contain me. Lazy is not a character trait of mine. Don't wait in line. This is the current condition of my state of mind. Don't tell me that this isn't real.
That shocked me.
Don't tell me this ain't how I feel. This is all I have. All I have. All I ever wanted was somebody to get this. All I ever wanted was somebody to play this. Yeah, take my...
I've stopped it quickly because it's pretty much about time for me to shift over to the other part of the video, but I do need to talk about his singing, and I do reference it again. I love it. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because I know that I think I do talk about it later on. But this is the first time that I'm hearing him sing, and I am really liking his voice. It's an excellent contrast to the rapping. And I think I discussed the vocal harmony a bit later too. So the next scene you'll see is pretty much the original recording.
All I ever wanted was somebody to get this. All I ever wanted was somebody to play this. Yeah, take my song, put it on they play, and get goosebumps every time they play it. Waiters, this my calling and not father. Maybe I should just not bother. Go back to that 9 to 5, but I am not a quitter, so quit that. I never been a killer, but I guarantee I kill tracks. Put him in the coffin, lost it. Rip that, trying to make an impact in rap. Is that insane? Well, I guess so. Rap though, but it give me that pencil, and you ain't never gonna make it. It's all mental. I am in a place where I can't let go. I still work a job and do this, and y'all know what's stupid. I thought all you had to do was get a record deal and yo, things start moving. But that's not the case, because most of the time, the artists you hear, you keep on thinking that artist is new, but that artist has probably been at it for years.
Love the flow. Love the I mean, I'm learning new words. I'm loving the different variations in rhythm, of course. What really got me with that, and it was something so small, and I'm looking at it from a musical perspective, and I'm not sure whereabouts on the lyrics it was, but when you think of things like vocally, and he's rapping, and he has his voice, he's got his own voice. Yeah, what I'm basically saying is that you have NF, and you have his own vocal tone color. And it's a little small thing musically, which makes things so interesting that you don't think about, is the way that one changes their voice to bring, firstly, a different sound, or a different timbre is the word, Timbre, and secondly, conveying an emotion. So looking at the lyrics here, I'm in a place where I can't let go, Hearing how he's saying the it gives interest. He doesn't even need it there to get his point across, but it really adds musically something more to listen to, but also it emphasizes his point. And again, looking at this, I hadn't heard of NF before the search, and exactly what I'm guilty of his next lyrics is saying that, oh, well, look at this new artist here, but they've probably been at it for years. And that's the kind of effort which is going unnoticed, and the effort is always there. And I always make this comparison as a music teacher, that you see somebody play a musical instrument, or you see somebody do something really cool, and you go, oh my God, they're so talented. They're really good at piano. or they're really good at the guitar. I wish I was like them. It doesn't happen overnight. And this is exactly what the message is here, that there's just so much effort that you put in which actually goes unnoticed. This work behind the scenes. I'm actually starting it from where he expresses, I'm in a place where I can't let go. And listen out for that that he does. I can't do it, obviously. And see what difference that makes vocally and musically to maintain interest.
I am in a place where I can't let go. I still work a job and do this. And y'all know it's stupid. I thought all you had to do was get a record deal and yo, things start moving. But that's not the case, because most of the time the artists you hear, you keep on thinking that artist is new, but that artist has probably been at it for years. Yeah, in the back of my mind thinking, am I wasting my time dreaming? And I ain't got no money in my wallet, but I guarantee no way that I ain't gonna leave this. I need this, I swear to y'all, I need this. And this hip hop's in my veins. If you cut me, I'ma bleed it. And yo, what you think I write raps for no reason? No. Take my pain and I put them in a song. Ever since them pills, they took my mind. I've been a different person. Don't try to predict my verses. What you're hearing now is me. Whether I'm in front or behind that curtain, I stand behind these words. I'm a Christian, but I'm not perfect. Don't tell me to calm down, I'm calm now. Listen, I'm just working. Yeah, it might take a minute to get it, but once you get it, everything will be crystal clear. I don't think they see my vision here. I don't think they see my vision here.
What I'm really loving here, and this is what I love with what he does, and I know it happens in other rap as well, but you've got this accompaniment which has a heavy, definite beat, but every so often that's pulled back. And that's pulled back where you just have a sustained synthesized sound happening while he's rapping. And the way that I see it is this creates contrast. This makes it interesting to listen to because it's going to build again. And at the same time, he can really bring across a point, which is really, really important. And it's part of the flow, but it's all a package deal. The rap is there, and the rap works, and the message is clear. But in my view, the message is not complete until you've got the complete composition. And so what I'm listening to is this back and forth of pulling back the instrumentation and then bringing it back in. And that complements the rhythm and the flow really, really well.
Everything will be crystal clear. I don't think they see my vision here. I don't think they see my vision here. Don't tell me that this isn't real. Don't tell me this ain't how I feel. Oh, this is all I have. All I have.
Love the harmony. I'm just stopping it there to complement the harmony. It is just so underlying and it's sometimes unnoticeable. But if you took that harmony away, it doesn't have the same effect. The vocal harmony.
This is all I have, all I have. Don't tell me that this isn't real. Don't tell me this ain't how I feel. Oh, this is all I have, all I have. Don't tell me that this isn't real. Don't tell me this ain't how I feel. Oh, yeah. All I have, all I have.
What's got me in that ending, and I'm going to take it back, is that heavy snare. Again, he could have just repeated that chorus with the same accompaniment, with the same use of instrumentation, with that same bass beat. I mean, the snare was there the whole time, but you got this much heavy snare drum. Again, it pushes it, and it pushes it forward. I'm going to take it back because I love that. And these are little things that we take for granted when we listen, because we're listening to the lyrics, we're listening to the message. It's all amazing, but the message is clearer, and the message hits closer to home, and the message hits harder from the development of this composition.
Don't tell me that this isn't
The song doesn't finish ever until the last note completely fades away. Remember that. Not just with NF stuff, but always. And what I get a lot from my piano students, who I teach privately, especially the little ones, is they'll finish off their song and they'll play the final note. And as they're playing the final note and holding the final note because you're meant to, or the chord, they'll turn around and look at me. I'm like, no. It's not finished. You need to be in it until the very end, until that very last sound is gone. That was powerful. There were the allusions, of course, to losing his mum, and I know that we'll be tackling that on how could you leave us. From the story that I've gotten so far, as she died from a drug overdose, visually, and of course in the lyrics, the pills took my mum. But I loved this. I loved the fact that for the first time I saw NF sing and it was pure. It had a lot of emotion and it developed as it went along. Was it pitch perfect? Well, no. But who cares? Was it pleasant to listen to? Yes. I really, really like this. Thank you so much for watching. On my last video, I did put it out there for those who wanted to comment on their experiences and thoughts about this song that we just listened to, or that I listened to, All I Have. And I got so many responses. And I did actually read through them all. So thank you so much for doing that. I have picked one to read before we finish up. This one's from Benjamin Phelps. He says, "When I was younger, I struggled with depression and suicide. My parents and family didn't quite understand the impact that being bullied and having bad grades had on me. A few years ago, around 5, when Mansion came out, I listened and listened to that album. I had to do my own reaction to my parents before they finally began to comprehend what was going on. In the end, NF ended up saving my life. He has saved many lives that he doesn't even know about. His song, All I Have, at the very least and possibly the poorest description, tied in with what I have here and now, and not to take things for granted or to look to the negative. People are not stupid, and as one of his songs said, real recognizes real. We are all real, and we recognize that he's real." Next song I'll be doing is Wake Up, and then there'll be Notepad. That's what I was given for the order for the Mansion album. A few people have suggested that I listen to Paralyzed, which I will be, and remember that I will be listening to all of the songs in between on my own accord. However, please let me know down below your thoughts about whether I should be including Paralyzed as a part of this and film it. Bear in mind that I love doing this. However, it's something which obviously takes time. I will write a list, because there have been some requests. I will write a list on the ones that I will certainly be doing, and that can be updated, of course. And I'm always reading your comments. I'm always taking your advice, and I'm learning along the way, and I'm learning from the people who are giving advice, because I'm going to make mistakes. I have made mistakes, and I'm going to keep learning. So thank you for watching. Until next time.